welcome back to me, episode 433 of What's Right with Nick Wright, presented to you by Boost Mobile. Damonza, so I have a bit, I don't know if it's an embarrassing confession, but it's a confession. I thought that I had solved jet lag. And
Okay.
I was like, man, I flew 15 hours straight to Japan.
Right.
And landed at 5 a.m. like Sunday morning Japan time. First day, started my day, went to bed at a reasonable time that night. Or I guess it was Saturday morning, whatever, doesn't matter. And then just had 8 straight normal days in Japan. Wasn't napping during the day. I was like, man, I just slept well enough on the plane. I'm fine. Came back, got back Sunday night, 13-hour flight back, slept like 10 hours on that flight, then went to bed Sunday night in New York, like 1 a.m., because it got in the house about midnight. Slept till like 5, but I had slept 10 hours on the flight. I'm like, man, I'm fine.
It's coming.
I was like, oh, man, all these folks talking about jet lag going New York to L.A. We went halfway around the world. I say all that to say this. I've been up since 1 in the morning. I am right now just a little. I have no idea how many cups of coffee I've had. I don't know if I'm tired or not. I'm a little discombobulated. And
I think you feel how I felt when I had Mila. Like those 2 or 3 days, I was just running on fumes.
That's a different type of feeling. That's just stone sleep deprivation. That's what you were going through. This is different, and so nothing really challenges you as a professional broadcaster than basically going on like a 30-hour. Because when I say I've been up since 1, I was watching the Laker game, so I fell asleep for like an hour. So I'm on like, I don't know, I'm something around like 30 straight hours. I'm about to do in the next 5 hours, 3 hours of just live talking. So we're really going to see, how sharp I really am. And then after the show tonight, your baby sister has the school musical. So then I have to, so I got a lot going on.
It's going to be dark in there, man.
If I fell asleep during her musical, man, she would never speak to me again. All right, so let's get right to it, though, because we have a ton to get to. We have the Laker game from last night. Durant's kind of odd commentary after last night's game, NCAA tournament stuff, World Baseball Classic stuff, and a bunch of topics that happened while I was in Japan that I want to get to here. So before we do any of that, straight to voicemail brought to you by our friends at Boost Mobile. USA Hockey completes the hockey triple crown, which means Olympic men, Olympic women, and the Paralympic sled hockey. So that's pretty sweet. Jason Tatum came back while I was gone, and now the minutes restriction is lessened since I've been gone. And I think, my last day before I left on TV, I picked your Celtics, Damonza, to win the whole damn thing.
I think that's very fair at this point. He came back at the perfect time. If everything goes smoothly from here on out, we should win the title. But,
Well, listen. I just said I picked
it,
so I'm not going to now neg it. But you certainly should be in the finals.
Exactly.
At this point, it's now if OKC is, has really just been hanging out in third gear and is just a great team with a great title defense, there's no shame in that. If Wemby keeps elevating, there's no. But at this point, if you're a Celtic fan, it will feel really disappointing if you don't make the finals and you can win a championship, and that'd be so great for Tatum. I'd be so happy for him. And also, the Hawks have now won 10 in a row. Somehow, I think they started this winning streak in 9th place, and I think 10 wins later, they're still in 9th place, and a lot of those wins came against tankers. Oh, no. They moved up to, they're now tied for 8th with Philadelphia, and so they're moving up a little bit. Let's get to the 7-8 line is valuable. All right. Reminder to everybody, like, rate, subscribe, review. We're done with, our post-Super Bowl vacations kind of. We might in a couple weeks have one other. We might switch a Tuesday show to a Wednesday show here in a few weeks but we'll deal with that down the road. But we're here for the duration, and so subscribing to the pod lets you know when we go live, when we post an episode, all of that. It helps us out a ton. Also, feel free to submit questions to the live show if we don't get to them. We're gonna start doing like bi-weekly mailbag episodes. Oh, and that's the other thing. Back to 3 shows a week starting this week. So we went 2 shows a week post Super Bowl, and with the time off, we're going to be back to 3 shows a week. All right, Damonza, let's catch us up on some things.
All right, so a lot has transpired since your Japan trip. First off, we got Bam scoring 83 against the Wizards, and how the media and everybody reacted to that.
So, believe it or not, I saw the fourth quarter of this live.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know what day it was. It was the morning in Tokyo, and your mom was getting dressed, and I was on Twitter, and I saw people say Bam had, 50 at halftime or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. I'm monitoring it, and then I figured out how to basically stream from Japan the last 7 minutes or whatever of the fourth quarter. And I almost tweeted about what I anticipated the reaction was going to be, but I was also on vacation, and I was like, I'm not going to do it. And this is going to be one of those things that some people may feel like I am trying to make a sports story a bigger story than it actually is, but this is just how my brain works. I thought the general reaction to a player with as cool of a story and as likable and as uncontroversial and unpolarizing as Bam Adebayo scoring 83 god-dog points in an NBA game, instantly being debate about its validity, just a massive indictment for how we consume, discuss, and enjoy sports, and really almost all things entertainment related. Like if I was maybe on a little more sleep and had a little more time, there is an interesting essay to be written about the folks trying to tear down either one battle after another, winning the Oscar, or Sinners and Michael B. Jordan's performance, comparing it to other performances or other Best Picture winners in the moment of its ultimate glory, and folks being like, yeah, it's 83. But when you really think about it, only 76 of those points were ethical by my standards. And everybody knows he's not Kobe Bryant. And I mean, even though nobody's ever seen Wilt scoring 100, obviously that was the more... Everybody shut up. Somebody scored 83 points in a basketball game.
Yep.
Regulation NBA game. If somebody scored 83 points in a junior college game, it would make SportsCenter. This guy did it in the NBA. And the reason I know the conversation, the tail starts wagging the dog on this shit, someone's going to clip this and say I'm making it up. Hand to God. The next day after this, I'm walking around one of the fish markets, the fish market in Osaka, because I was in Osaka the next day. Very tourist, kind of location in Osaka. And a kid with either a British or Australian accent, I'm not good at determining, knew me, didn't know my name, but knew he had seen me on, I'm sure, on his phone talking about the NBA and says to me, "Sorry, I just have to ask, Bam's game, ethical or unethical?" And I'm like, man, sports debate kind of sucks right now.
Oh, on the
This
ethical.
guy scored 83 points. And it was the immediate conversation was that actually good or not? Guy scored 83 fucking points in an NBA game. And the immediate, not like, all right, we're 4 days into the Bam Adebayo just
Right.
scored
Like as it's
the
happening.
most points anyone has scored, since Vietnam. And it's like, all right, we're out of things. So now should we peel back a 6th layer? The first topic. Should he have tried? This was a topic. Should he have done the NBA version of that old commercial where the kid tells the ref, "It's out on me. I touched it." Should Bam have subbed himself out at 80? Yeah, they said a prayer for Kobe and walked off the. What are we doing?
I think I saw Bam telling the team to foul. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he went in the complete other direction. I will
He
say,
wanted the record.
I'm not on the unethical side, but I do think, and you're like a big basketball historian, when you go back in the future, or when you go to the future and you look back at this game, it's like, wait, this guy dropped 83 points. What the hell happened? I mean, they played the Wizards.
Well,
but-
yes, but guess what? There was a famous David Thompson final day of the season. I think it was David Thompson, George Gervin. Final day of the season, both going for the scoring record, and they both scored in the 70s. Like the David Robinson, I think, going for a scoring record, game 82, got to 70. By the way, in the game when Wilt got 100, they were fouling the other team to get more possessions so Wilt could get to 100. So, and now listen, Kobe got his 81 for the most part within the flow of the game. And it was in a comeback, and Kobe a few weeks prior
and
got
all of these
60.
names that you're mentioning, these are these are legends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I understand. But Bam scored 31 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
He had 50 in the first half. He was at 70 with like 9 minutes left. That was all within the flow. Yeah, was he playing a bad team? Yes. You have to be playing a bad team to score. Right. And it has to be a blowout. Yeah. Because if it's a close game, they're going to force the ball out of your hands. All those things have to happen. And so I am not sitting. If someone wants to say, I was more impressed by Kobe's 81 than Bam's 83, sure.
That's fair.
Totally legitimate opinion. But that wasn't the conversation I saw from halfway around the world. It was actually, this was not good. Actually, when you really think about it, he shouldn't have tried to do it. Shut up. And
the announcers have been salty about it ever since, too. I hear it on the broadcast. At the end of the game, they're like, oh, maybe we should go for 50.
Bam Adebayo, we've been playing the NBA for 80 years. There have been totally different eras, totally different styles, rule changes, everything. One person has ever scored more points in a game than Bam Adebayo. That's cool. And maybe if he was like a guy that people really was like a very controversial figure.
Yeah.
Like the peak.
Like if Draymond dropped 83 like 5-6 years ago?
Yeah, I was thinking like controversial in that he had Russ peak triple-double hunting. You know, where there's like he has diehard fans and folks that actually think, maybe it would have made more sense. But we just can't flatly enjoy anything.
People were
anymore.
pissed.
They were legit mad. I thought it was so crazy. Like, I don't know, man.
I mean, it's a
Go
lot
for
of it is probably
records.
Kobe, because I think when LeBron, when they had passed LeBron, it wasn't like a huge like there. I think people were actually probably happy about it, but then he passed Kobe, and it was like, hey man, what are you doing out there, bro? Sub yourself out.
So right. So that is correct. So there is an element of Kobe already had a cult-like following in a good way. Like, Kobe fans are diehards. And that was before he tragically passed suddenly without warning. And so that really did elevate him into almost like
the emotional factor and like
yes.
in their heads, yeah.
So I understand that, but records are not meant to be untouchable. Records are there. They are targets. Records are targets. And somebody went and shot for it. And by the way, man, and the other thing that annoys me is I am old enough to remember the reaction when coaches have not allowed guys to go for it.
Yeah.
Melo had 62 or 63 and got subbed out early in the fourth. Clay had what, 61 through 3? It's something insane. And Kerr didn't play him in the fourth. People were pissed. Go for it. And so I wish there were things that were just allowed to be awesome. Now, it doesn't mean everything has to be the greatest thing ever. Like, I'm not saying that you're not allowed to have a discerning eye and say, actually, I thought Luka, when he scored 72 a couple years ago, and by the way, Luka scored 72, no one remembers it. Like, it happened and nobody cared. And actually, when that happened, I remember. And this was canary in the coal mine on this. When Luka scored 72, the conversation was, what's wrong with the NBA? Like, scoring's become too easy. We just can't enjoy things anymore. We can't just flatly enjoy it. And so that part just sucked to me. All right, there's my Bam rant. 15 minutes on a topic from 8 days ago is what people are here for.
Hey, man. So next, we got my Ravens backing out of the Maxx Crosby trade and then picking up Trey Hendrickson. We talked about that a little bit before you left.
So, what did we talk about?
We just talked about Hendrickson potentially going to the Ravens to stick it to Cincinnati.
Right. Oh yeah, you're right. But the Crosby thing hadn't.
Yeah, not Crosby at all. Yeah.
All right. So here's where I've got to be fair on all sides. Now, I do think it's possible, Damonza, that the Ravens, it was part Maxx Crosby's physical and part cold feet / oh, wait, we can get Hendrickson. Right. I'm not certain, but that to me isn't like a wild conspiracy theory. That to me is at least somewhat
kind of seeming like a tactic a little bit.
It's at least something I'm open to that possibility that that's what happened. Here's what I will say about your Ravens. Had I been on the air the day the Maxx Crosby trade, not the going back on it, but the day Maxx Crosby's
he was on
Ravens,
the team, yeah,
I would have said I thought that was an overpay. That I thought giving up 2 1s and the contract for a 29-year-old coming off knee surgery with that much, who has played more snaps over the last 6 years than any other defensive lineman by a mile, that is a wildly risky move and one I wouldn't have made. Therefore, I have to say, I think it's good that they
got it for cheaper.
They got. I think Trey Hendrickson is not nearly as good as Maxx Crosby. And he's
like
old.
85% of them.
Well, I would rather have Trey Hendrickson on what would end up being a cheaper contract and 2 first-round picks than Maxx Crosby.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. So I think that is a net win. Here is the only addendum I'll throw on that. I do think there is a potential cost for Baltimore if the league believes they just got cold feet. I think it then becomes harder for them to do business in the future.
Yeah, it was a bad look.
Right. And so I do think it really matters what, because I think Crosby's eventually getting traded. I think it's going to really matter what he gets traded for. So if somebody if Dallas ends up trading a first and a second for Crosby, then I think this is a tough look on Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if Maxx Crosby ends up getting traded for just a second round pick, then I think Baltimore is fully exonerated. Does that make sense? And so that's where I've got to wait and see. The other thing I will say about Baltimore's offseason, I would have liked to see them get Lamar another weapon. I'm not Isaiah Likely left. Their third string tight end left. It's still just Zay Flowers and friends.
Yeah, we got the draft.
Derrick Henry's an all-time legend, but at some, I'm done betting against him, but at some point he's going to stop being, the dominant Derrick Henry. I thought Mark Andrews was going to be done a year ago.
Yeah.
And so that part concerns me a bit. All right, we can keep going to my team now.
So your Chiefs cleared up that space for Kenneth Walker, and they just traded for Justin Fields, but nothing outside of that.
Yeah. So, listen, they have to remake their secondary in the draft. So let's they traded away Trent McDuffie.
Right.
He's an excellent player. That's a tough decision, but I supported it. We talked about that on the show.
Yeah,
on this show.
we did.
Jaylen Watson left as well. Both go to the Rams. Brian Cook, who I like, left. He goes to the Bengals. So that's your three of your starting secondary guys gone. They signed Kader Kohu. They signed Alohi Gilman from your Ravens. So those guys step in. They believe they can just draft and develop corners. Fine. I love the Kenneth Walker signing for two reasons. First one is, I'm not even certain, at this point, it doesn't look like Jeremiah Love is going to be there at 9. But also, it gives you flexibility to take a higher value position at 9. You don't have this glaring, gaping hole on the roster. And when you pair that with the Justin Fields signing or trade, they traded a 6th for Fields. They paid him $3 million. Here's what I like about it. Last year, Damonza, if you were playing the Chiefs in your game plan the week leading in, defensively, basically 100% of your prep was about stopping Mahomes in the passing game.
Oh, yeah.
What it was 100% of your prep was, how do we slow down the passing game because they can't run?
Yep.
Now you have a legitimate, not top flight, but good running back. The best back Mahomes has had since his first year with Kareem Hunt. His first year as a starter before Kareem Hunt got kicked off the team. And I think they will have just enough maybe just once a game, Wildcat Justin Fields packages that you have to prepare for it.
Yeah.
And now you are spending time in your prep week. How are we going to defend their rushing attack? How are we going to defend when Fields is on the field? And that will make things easier for Patrick. If you remember me saying 4 years ago, I wanted them to sign Cam Newton to be the backup quarterback so we could run quarterback sneaks on inches again. They can now do that with Justin Fields instead of handing it off to Travis Kelce or Noah Gray or whomever in doing this tight end tush-push. Now, if Fields has to start because Mahomes is not ready at the beginning of the year,
right,
that's a disaster.
That's a disaster.
But that would be a disaster. Well, it's not great.
No,
I mean,
you obviously want Patrick Mahomes playing instead of Justin Fields. I think that the Kansas City might be able to get a little something out of Justin Fields.
Well, that's the other thing. Ford Fields, this is the best.
This is awesome.
Thing possible.
Yeah.
If he can remake his career a bit. But if we were to know right now, like Mahomes was going to miss the first month, I would have rather them sign Kirk Cousins. Like once Fields is an above average backup.
I was about to say, like, more escapability than Kirk Cousins, especially with the O-line being a problem last year.
Here's where if Kirk Cousins is your backup quarterback, he has zero utility at all once Patrick's healthy. If Justin Fields your backup quarterback, he can actually be helpful even once Patrick's healthy.
He's back. Yeah.
So that part I like. All right, let's go to some of the quarterback signings before we get to the NCAA tournament in basketball from last night.
So the Vikings signed Kyler Murray, and the Falcons now have Tua. What are you thinking on those?
Listen, I don't believe in Kyler or Tua as starting quarterbacks in this league. People know Kyler is a starter, I should say. Like, I don't think he's a backup. But I just don't think either one of those guys are, real viable long-term starting options. But that's independent of what I'm about to say here. I do not understand teams. And maybe with the Falcons, it's like we have a new regime in place. It doesn't matter. That draft these potentially raw quarterbacks in the first round. And then less than a dozen starts into their career, they're like, yeah, we're done with this guy. I don't get it. Like, if you're going to make the investment to take J.J. McCarthy in round 1, 10 starts in, you're like, yeah, that's not going to work. You take Michael Penix when you already have Kirk Cousins. He starts 3 games as a rookie, 9 games last year, blows out his knee, and now you want to just be like, all right, Tua's going to be our guy? That can't be the right answer. So now maybe maybe they signed Tua to be the backup, so be it. The Vikings signed Kyler to be the starter. And even though here's the thing, I don't believe in Kyler, but I have so little belief in McCarthy, I think Kyler's obviously the better option. I just think the process sucks. I think that if you're going to say we're going to take a shot on raw J.J. McCarthy in the top half of round 1, to give up on him 10 starts into his career is just an awful process. Awful. All right, we're going to get to the NCAA tournament in just a second, but first, let me remind you guys, today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet Florida Sportsbook. It's tourney time. Everyone's favorite thing to do this time of year is fill out a bracket. So join me in the volume bracket contest presented by Hard Rock Bet. Grand prize winner scores a 2-night stay at the Guitar Hotel. I've stayed at that hotel. That place is awesome. At Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, plus $1,000 in bonus bets to use on the Hard Rock Bet app. All you have to do is head to bracket.thevolume.com and fill out your bracket. That's bracket.thevolume.com to make your picks. And once your bracket's locked in, it's time to hit the hardwood on the Hard Rock Bet app. All tournament long, Hard Rock Bet is rolling out daily Dancin' boosts featuring a live profit boost and a parlay profit boost every single day. That's more ways to shoot your shot and cash in with boosted odds. And you know those heart-stopping, zero-on-the-clock moments? Now they pay. Hard Rock Bet has given out $25 bonus bets throughout the tournament if a team you bet to win or cover hits a buzzer beater. If you haven't joined Hard Rock Bet yet, now's the time. Check in the game. New signups can double their winnings on their first 10 bets, max $50. That means if you would have won $100 on your bet, now it's $200. That's how you start March hot. So don't sit on the bench. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today, and let's get the party started. All right, Damonza, special Knicks Picks edition.
It's time for a special edition of Knicks Picks, brought to you by Hard Rock Bet.
So, 2 tournament picks for you guys.
First, we've got Houston
I got it. I'll do it.
Okay.
No,
Like,
you're fine. It was dramatic pause. Because I went down this road last year, and they lost. I picked Houston to get to the Final Four. I don't believe I picked them to win the championship. But Houston, with Kelvin Sampson, got all the way to the final against Florida, had the ball, chance to win it, didn't get a shot up, kind of tragic loss. It's a different type of gut punch, but it reminded me of Virginia when, as a 1 seed, one of the favorites to win the tournament, became the first 1 seed ever to lose to a 16. And then the very next year, they responded to that stomach punch by winning the championship. I think Houston and Kelvin Sampson finally break through. They're 9-1 to win it all. They have the huge bonus of, first of all, they, in my opinion, pretty clearly have the easiest 1 seed to deal with in their region. It would be Florida. It'd be a rematch in the title game. And they'll make the Sweet 16. Their Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games are in Houston. So they would have home games to make the Final Four. Houston at 9-1 to win it all. And the other pick that I'm going to give out is, I think, the best all-around team in the country, and certainly the healthiest of the... There's 3 big favorites: Arizona, Duke, and Michigan. Arizona's the healthiest. Arizona to win its region, to make the Final Four at minus 155. So those 2 Knicks picks brought to you by our friends at Hard Rock Bet. Houston to win the whole thing at 9-1. Arizona to win the West at minus 155. Those 2 picks brought to you by Hard Rock Bet. And by the way, speaking of the tournament, so I've now got to, hold on, I've got to check the latest, gosh darn it, I've got to check the latest details on this. And so I've talked to you guys about this contest before.
Oh yeah,
my pals,
was it 3 million?
Yeah, my pals at Splash Sports, the college basketball tournament survivor contest. It's $3 million guaranteed, and it's $150 to enter. Now, contrary to what my friend Brent Hanks at Poker Go would tell you, I am not on the hook for the guarantee. Splash Sports is. But still, the math on that is pretty simple, Damonza. If it's $150 to enter, and they're guaranteeing $3 million to the winner, they need 20,000 entries. We are the Tuesday before the tournament, and we are, that's what I was just checking, sitting right now at 5,240 entries. So that means right now, this moment, there is a, call it $2.2 million overlay. There is about $780,000 worth of entries, and there's going to be $3 million prize. So at this very moment, it's the single best value you could ever do in a Survivor contest. And even, by the way, even if there's no overlay, it's $150 for you. Somebody's going to win $3 million. And if there's multiple winners, then they just chop it. Like if there's 3 winners, they each get $1 million, whatever it is.
Right.
But it's a $3 million guarantee. I don't know if they're gonna hit the guarantee. which is, it's weird. It's good for the user. If there's an overlay, but either way, but if it gets, but 3 million is just the minimum. So if they get more than 20,000 entries and the prize pool grows, whatever it is, it's $150. I will sponsor Daniel, Paul, and your entry. So you three all can have an entry. Not to share, but like one
individual
each.
Yeah.
One each, but it's going to be a group project, so to speak. Everyone's got, and all, everybody's got a piece of each other's. And the,
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I did this Survivor last year. It was the Helmuth's one, which last year was $5,000. This year's $10,000. We have some breaking news. How about
3
this?
new signees. No.
No, this is real breaking news. The Denver Broncos are trading for Jaylen Waddle.
Wow.
So Denver gets. So, by the way, shout out Aqib Talib. Didn't Aqib Talib say a couple days ago like Denver was going to sign or get a big receiver? So Denver is getting Jaylen Waddle and the Dolphins' 4th round pick for the Broncos' 1st round pick, 3rd and 4th round pick. So it's basically they're swapping 4th round picks. So the simple version of it is Miami is getting the 30th pick and a 3rd round pick for Jaylen Waddle. So Miami's getting a little less for Waddle than the Chiefs got for McDuffie. Denver's giving up the 30th pick and a 3rd rounder, and they're swapping 4ths. And Denver now has a number 1 receiver. And Miami is just ripping it down and starting fresh, which is what they're supposed to do. Yeah. I like that for Denver. I like Jaylen Waddle.
Yeah.
Now, we've never really seen Waddle as, we saw him as a number 1 early in his career. I think his first year before they got Tyreek, and he had 100 catches for 1,000 yards. Is really interesting because his rookie year he had a bunch of catches but was very low yards per catch, and then his second year with Tyreek, he had 30 fewer catches and 350 more yards, and his yards per catch went from 9.8 to 18.1. He's a really good player, and he's still young. He's 27 years old. He's on a reasonable contract. Like, if fair is fair, that's a good trade for Denver. I like that. And this is when you go for it, right? Bo Nix makes no money. You brought back everyone. You hadn't added anyone of note. So this is what you do. So listen, Denver trades the 30th pick of the draft and a 3rd rounder for Jaylen Waddle, and they swap 4th. So that's the simplest way to look at it. I like that for Bo Nix. And I like Miami just being like, we're going to try to go ahead and be the worst team in the league this year. You know who doesn't like that?
Start somewhere.
Yeah, but you know what I just realized?
Who doesn't like it?
I keep forgetting they signed this guy. You know who doesn't like what Miami's doing? Malik Willis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that they signed Malik Willis.
That's awful. I low-key just forgot about that. That's crazy. Trade away is number 1.
So they're gonna run into next year with a wide receiving core of Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, and Malik Washington. That's not great for Malik Willis, but at least he got paid, and you'll see. And they're starting fresh, cleaning up their books, taking their cat medicine this year. The cat medicine they're going to be taking it next year as well, if we're being totally honest. Because Tua's deal is such a disaster. But, okay. So the Dolphins... Now, so who is left on the Dolphins? Like,
You've got A-Chan and Darren Waller.
Devin
Did they cut
A-Chan.
Darren Waller?
No, I don't know. I don't think they had to cut him. I think he was on a 1-year deal. But Bradley, I mean, they've got nobody left, man.
They got Bradley Chubb.
No, they don't. Bradley Chubb signed with Bradley Chubb signed with the Bills. No, I mean with respect, deserved respect to the New York Jets and the Tennessee Titans.
Deserved respect.
That's the worst team in football next year. Like that's just gonna be a really bad team. Oof. Who's there? And who they? Oh, is it Jeff Hafley is their coach now? Yeah. I mean, good luck, Jeff. Yikes. They're a tough spot. And the Broncos go add a real weapon. I like that for them. Credit to the Broncos. I like that for them. All right, guys. Before we get to the Lakers game from last night, here's the thing: most men start losing testosterone around age 30, about 1% every year after that. Same workout, same diet, but it feels like you're moving through mud. Well, that has to change, and no one wants to deal with expensive TRT treatments where you need weekly shots for the rest of your life. So keep it simple and do something natural that supports your body with Mars Men. It helps your body unlock usable testosterone so you can feel like yourself again. Mars Men gives you the same benefits of optimized testosterone, energy, strength, focus, without shutting your body down. No synthetics, no needles, no dependency, 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Worst case, you don't absolutely love it, get your money back. But over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website to see for yourself. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. After you purchase, they're going to ask where you heard about them. It helps us out a bunch if you tell them our show sent you. So again, for a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. And please tell them we sent you. All right, Damonza, let's talk Lakers and Rockets from last night.
So the Lakers pulled away from the Rockets last night in a close one. It wasn't too long ago that you gave up on Los Angeles as a contender. They now sit in the 3 seed. Have you changed your tune on that at all?
Well, yes and no. So here's what I think. I think that it is unrealistic to think this Lakers team, with its pretty obvious roster construction flaws and limitations defensively, is going to win 4 consecutive rounds in the playoffs. And that's how you win a championship. But I also think, Damonza, right now, it's pretty unrealistic to think anyone other than 3 teams max can win 4 straight rounds, and it's really 2 teams.
Right.
Because Oklahoma City can win 4 straight rounds. Boston can win 4 straight rounds. And I guess San Antonio can, but they are bucking all of NBA history.
Yeah.
That they can have no playoff experience at all. None at all. And then win the title their first year playing. But so here is where I am at on the Lakers as contenders go. If you believe there are only 3 contenders, Thunder, Celtics, Spurs, then by that metric, then the Lakers are not a contender. Totally fair. But if you are including literally any other team in the league, you must include the Lakers. If you think the Knicks can win the title, then the Lakers can. If you think the Nuggets can win the title, then the Lakers can. If you think the Timberwolves can win the title, then the Lakers can. And here is the other interesting thing. And tomorrow night's Lakers game, sneaky, is just a massive game. Because they have the tiebreaker with the Nuggets already. They finish the same record as the Nuggets. They get the higher seed. They have the tiebreaker with the Timberwolves already. They finish with the same record as the Timberwolves. They get the higher seed. They have played the Rockets twice. They beat them last night. They are 1-1 against the Rockets. They play them for the final time of the year tomorrow. So if they win tomorrow, they then have the tiebreaker with every team that is fighting for the 3 seed, right? You then add this to the math a bit. The Lakers have 5 games left against tankers. Pacers, Wizards, Nets, Jazz, Mavs. That's 5 wins. You can't lose those games. It's not like, oh, they might sneak up and beat you. If those teams are like sneaking up and beating you, their coaches just bench their good players. They want to lose. So the Lakers are not actually sitting at right now at 43-25. In my head, they're 43 and 25. They're 48-25. So in their other 9 games, their games against non-tankers, here's what they've got. The Rockets tomorrow, as I said. Then in Miami on a back-to-back. That's probably a loss. In Orlando, in Detroit, and then just this, what a great 3-game set. Indiana, Brooklyn, Washington. Good shape there. Home for Cleveland, at OKC, at Dallas. That was one of the games I said. Home OKC, at Golden State, which without Steph, they might as well be a tanker. Now, he could be back by then. Home for Phoenix, home for Utah at the end of the year. So if we're giving them the 5 wins against the tankers, if they can just go 4-5 against those other teams, that would put them at 52 wins, which should be enough for the 3 seed. And the 3 seed's interesting because it sets up potentially a round 2 against the Spurs, and it's all the playoff experience in the world against none of the playoff experience in the world. It's Luka and Wemby. That is a fun one. And so, again, I don't think the Lakers can win the title, but I really only think 2 teams, I guess 3, can win the title. But if we're going to act like the Nuggets are real contenders, or the Timberwolves, or the Knicks, or the Cavs, and I'm not trying to disrespect the Pistons. They've had a hell of a year. I don't think they can win 4 rounds. But those teams, then the Lakers have to be included in that. All right, what else do you have here?
How do you feel about LeBron settling into his role as like kind of the 3rd guy at this point?
Well, it's what's right now. It's what's best for the Lakers. If Austin Reeves is not your either primary or secondary ball handler or scorer, he doesn't have that much utility.
Yeah.
But LeBron being able all of a sudden to deploy his energy instead of getting shots up on defense and doing other things because the story really, I don't want to miss the forest for the trees here. Luke is playing out of his gosh darn mind. And, Luka was kind of the league's whipping boy for a few weeks there. And then he reminded everyone, hey, guys, how about this, Damonza? the last three full seasons that Luka has played where he was not traded in the middle. So 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and this year, his averages over those 3 years, averages 33 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. That's what he averages.
Pretty solid.
He's going to win the scoring title this year. He's scoring 33 a game. And people just beating him up for weeks. He's been playing great. Austin's been playing really well. And LeBron is getting in where he fits in. And that plus Marcus Smart giving him a defensive stability has made him an interesting team.
Yeah, ever since the Luka Redick sideline debacle, things have been pretty smooth.
Yeah. And
Day after.
I also think LeBron missing those couple games with injury.
Yeah.
And Luka and Austin really getting it going, and then LeBron coming in and kind of playing a different role has been good for them.
Yep.
And I think I don't think LeBron's going to be on the Lakers next year, and I think whatever team he's on, he's going to have more of a scoring role again, and he'll remind people that he can still do it. But it's just such an advantage if LeBron scoring 25 is a bonus rather than a necessity.
Yep.
And and I think he's into it, man.
You think he's got another run in him?
I mean, not
Postseason?
a LeBron run. I mean, the LeBron playoff runs it was just, he would go through, literally, he would have one bad playoff game every 3 years. Like, that's not gonna, that's not there, but I do think he can cause problems. And I think that, I'm just very curious how all those guys on the Spurs, if that's a round 2 matchup, handle LeBron James standing across the court from him, plus Luka.
All right.
All right, I know that you got more here.
Any thoughts on Barkley's latest comments on the Lakers?
I want to be careful with what I say here. Because the single best compliment that First Things First ever gets is when people say the show reminds them of Inside the NBA. And I'm not going to act like we get that compliment a lot, but we've gotten it. And the reason that is such a great compliment is because that's one of, if not it might be the greatest sports TV show ever, Inside the NBA. It really might be. With that said, I wish this year it felt like they enjoyed basketball more than it feels like. And I mean, that Lakers Nuggets before the game, Chuck sang I hope the Lakers lose because I can't, because he was preemptively angry at talk shows that were going to take the Lakers seriously. Well, if they're the 3 seed in what's considered the tougher conference, are people allowed to take them a little seriously? And then after the game, when they win, with Austin making that unbelievable play and then Luka hitting the game winner, and Shaq saying, good teams don't need that. What are we doing? That was one of the best games of the year. Everybody was playing. Nobody was sitting. It went to overtime.
Throw, caught it himself and tied the game.
Tied the game. Insane. And then Luka hit a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
And you watch the World Baseball Classic, and that's it's not an exhibition, but it's not the Olympics. It's a created thing, and I'm going to talk more about that in a second. And everyone involved in the broadcast is so excited about it and so happy about it. And I just wish there was more of that from my favorite sports show ever. And so I'm not talking shit, and I don't want this we won't clip this and send this out, but it could be. I'm saying it. I will stand by what I'm saying. I would like it to be put in full context, but it's just a bummer when it seems like some of your favorite people to watch don't like what they're watching. And
do you think there's like a little bit of? I saw Jokic talking about jealousy and stuff with like the ex NBA players. Do you think that like with social media and stuff is so televised that like maybe people are upset that they didn't play in a certain era?
Yeah, it is. You do see more from the NBA than any other sport of the guys
ripping the
just talking about how their era was the better era.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see Terry Bradshaw and Howie Long on the Fox NFL pregame being like, none of these guys could cut it in the 70s or 80s. It's not what it is. It's a celebration of the games. All right, let's talk Rockets just for a second.
Yeah, what did you think of Durant's comments after the game? Do you think he's going to finish off?
If we didn't... So, listen, if we had more time, we could probably do an hour on this. It's really... So, at the beginning, he's like, yeah, maybe I just need to stand in the corner. And that would be better for the offense. And then he was like, no, it's all on me. I am the offense.
That's the problem. They're too dependent.
Press conference worth... Say it again, Damonza?
I feel like that's the problem. They're a little bit too dependent on Katie for offense. But
and Şengün wasn't playing last
night. Şengün wasn't in the game. That's fair.
But they are still very dependent on Kevin Durant. Counterpoint, that's why they traded for him.
Yes.
One of the greatest scorers ever. Yeah. Katie needs this to work, man. I'm not saying he needs to win a title there. Even though going into the year, I thought I might pick them to win the title. Now, the Van Vliet injury hurt them, and then the Steven Adams injury might have killed them. But KD can't go out in round one again. And that's what they're staring at. Like, I've talked about this before, so I don't want to belabor it, but it does look like we're looking at another year of, Kevin Durant, not wasted. He's a great player, one of the greatest scorers ever, one of the 20 greatest players of all time. But this is where I just remind people. Kevin Durant, age 22, in the conference finals. Kevin Durant, age 23, in the NBA finals. Kevin Durant, age 25, in the conference finals. Kevin Durant, age 27, in the conference finals. Kevin Durant, age 28, in the NBA finals champion. Kevin Durant, age 29, in the NBA finals champion. Kevin Durant, age 30, in the NBA finals gets hurt. Leaves Golden State. So, age 23 to 30, he plays in 4 NBA finals and 6 conference finals. Right? 23 to 30. Every year that he's not injured, basically, they're in the conference finals or further. Kevin Durant, age 31, misses the season with injury. Kevin Durant, age 32, the foot on the line series, round 2 against Milwaukee. Kevin Durant, age 33, swept in round 1. Kevin Durant, age 34, loses in round 2. Kevin Durant, age 35, swept in round 1. Kevin Durant, age 36, misses the playoffs. Kevin Durant, age 37 right now. Man. To live in late May and early June for your whole 20s, and then to be this entire decade play 13 total playoff games post round one. That's rough, man. And like last night was a tough game for him, and he didn't look good. And it just doesn't seem like it's going to work this year. And then he's 38.
You think all that burner stuff, all that stuff that came out, maybe messed some stuff up?
It certainly didn't help team chemistry. Yeah. I mean, that's obviously true. It's just, I don't know, and I like KD. It's just a weird, one of the weirdest careers ever. All right, I want to talk a little World Baseball Classic before we go. But real quick, you ever notice how everything keeps going up? Rent's going up, streaming services going up. Even your favorite burrito spots charging you extra for salsa. Not with Boost Mobile. With Boost Mobile, you and your phone bill don't have to play the Will This Go Up Soon game. Why? Because Boost Mobile has unlimited talk, text, and data at a price that'll never go up. In fact, it's the same price you'll pay for life. So switch now for unlimited wireless at a price that'll never go up, only at Boost Mobile. After 30 gigs, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 per month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan. All right, I just want to say one thing about the World Baseball Classic, which is really just a life lesson. Started the show with kind of something, you know, not necessarily profound, but profound adjacent. I'll try to end it with it as well. Because I did go to a World Baseball Classic game in Tokyo. It's unbelievable, the Tokyo Dome. I've also been super invested because I am like legit friends with Vinny Pasquantino, and he was like one of the stories of the tournament. I really thought Italy was going to set up an unbelievable championship game against the U.S. They lost to Venezuela last night. But there's also been Royals all over the tournament. Bobby Witt might be tournament MVP. Michael Garcia and Salvi Perez play for the championship tonight. Pasquantino and Jack Caglione were playing for Italy. Like, it's just awesome for my team. But the World Baseball Classic has been around since 2006? Is that right? I think that's right. I'm going to check to make sure. 2005 is when it started. And Damonza, have you ever heard, I'm not quizzing you. This is kind of, and I might even be getting this wrong. Do you know the answer to this question? When is the best time to plant a tree? It's like a
I do think that I've heard that the best time to plant a tree is
best time to plant a tree is last year. Do you know the second best, meaning the best time to plant a tree is in the past because it takes so long to for it to pay dividends. Do you know the second best time to plant a tree? Today.
Oh, okay. I was going to say right now.
Yeah, right now. Exactly. That's correct.
All right.
That's the story of the World Baseball Classic, which is trying to create a tradition pays no dividends immediately. And in fact, you might get mocked for it. It's a little first cousin of the NBA in-season tournament. That's stupid. Yeah. Why are we doing it? Who cares? Well, I don't know. In 20 years, it might matter. And it is hard. And the reason the tree thing is so relevant to this is and I think I've actually talked about this. I read a book once that had a whole long part of the book that, not a study, but talked about this phenomenon, if you will, and it really resonated with me, which is there is almost no better indicate how this is now. All of a sudden you guys can see I've been up for 30 hours.
It's the deprivation.
Yeah. There is no better return on taxpayer money than trees. Like cities and towns with trees, There is literally less pollution. The air is cleaner. Property values go up. Crime goes down. There's like they're incredibly inexpensive to to create all of these things. So why aren't there trees everywhere? And the answer is because, again, short version, no politician wants to, like, it's hard to run on or put real energy behind something.
It's like, oh, this is
that
what I'm
by
gonna do.
the time it pays, no,
Right.
by the time it pays dividends, you're out of
You're
office.
gone. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna do
yeah,
this,
like,
but by the time
this
it
is gonna
comes
be
to
awesome.
fruition,
Right. This is gonna be awesome 10 years from now. Like, well, that doesn't help me at all.
yeah,
And
glory.
that is a huge problem across in everything. And Damonza, as you start a family and have a like, your beautiful baby girl, like, the reminder of, like, it is the first time you create a tradition, it's just something you did. And then it's just like, no, this is, no, this is what we do. I don't even remember when our family, when I decided
on New Year's.
The picture on New Year's is a good one. I was gonna say Christmas dinner, going out to eat as a group when we're all together. We just did it one year, and then I think your sister, your younger sister, not your youngest sister, the next year said, "Are we doing it again?" And now it's just a thing we do.
Yep.
And now I do think that, like, that'll be something that the generations that follow, like, oh, that's something our family does.
100%.
And so I am rambling a bit here, but the reason I say all this is I think the World Baseball Classic has been awesome. And I now, like, look forward to the next one.
Yep.
And I don't know when or why or how that happened, but credit to baseball for wanting to do something like that and not caring that it maybe has taken 20 years for it to really catch on. But it has caught on. Yeah. And I think it's been awesome. And it's going to be a great launching pad for this upcoming baseball season. Because I think people are, now all of a sudden excited for the start of the season. All right, with that said, I probably should try to, catch 20 minutes of sleep before I go do 3 hours of TV. We will save some of the listener questions for Thursday's show and for our mailbag episode. Apologies if we didn't get that we didn't get to them today. Great to be back. I will see you guys on TV in a few hours. Thank you to Marsman, Boost, and of course Hard Rock, our friends at Hard Rock Bet. A reminder for Hard Rock Bet to go for our bracket contest. The website is, I have it right in front of me, bracket.thevolume.com. And if you want to do my Survivor contest, it's just splashsports.com/Nick. It's easy to find if you guys want to do that. Thank you to Blue Duck. Thank you to Volume. Talk to you guys on Thursday and see you on TV in a few hours. What's right?